My husband and son both lied to me. Original post. I'm 34 female, husband is 36 male, we've been married for 12 years. A few weeks ago, my husband said that he has seen another woman handle situations that he didn't think I would be able to. I tried to talk to him about why it bothered me, and he just told me it was a passing comment, and I shouldn't take it so seriously. That he had meant to simply compliment her by saying she was handling so much on her own, and he was impressed by it. I told him it was completely unnecessary and hurtful to compare her to me to compliment her. He told me I was being unreasonable and jealous, and that he didn't mean anything by it. After that, he didn't say anything else about it, so I dropped it. Then yesterday when I came home from work, I saw a pair of women's Fendi sunglasses on our kitchen island, kind of hidden by our fruit bowl. I picked them up and asked my husband whose they were. He looked confused and was like, "Aren't they yours?" And I said no. Then our oldest son, 11, is sitting at the kitchen table and goes, "Oh, those are my friend Allison's. I took them home on accident." I was immediately suspicious. These are very expensive sunglasses. And I know Allison's mother, and she doesn't seem like the type to let her child bring something worth that much money into school. My son kept insisting they were hers, and he had just taken them home accidentally on the bus, and he'd return them to her tomorrow. But I said no, and that I'd return them to her mother in person so I could make sure they got to them safely. When I spoke to Allison's mother, she confirmed that they weren't Allison's, and that neither she nor her daughter owned sunglasses like that. When I told my son and my husband this, they both feigned ignorance. My son went from saying he could have sworn they were Allison's to, well, maybe not maybe. I don't know whose they are. And then my husband said that he does remember taking the sunglasses out of our son's backpack when he was getting out his lunch stuff. Then my younger son, 9, just came home and recognized the sunglasses. They are Noelle's, the woman my husband helps out sometimes. The same one who he told me to not be upset that he compared me to her. I'm going to confront him when he gets home. I don't know what to say to him. I feel as though I'm going to immediately burst into tears. Can someone please give me advice on what to say? And also just general advice, please? I never thought I would be in this situation. Now for the top advice before reading the update. My main concern is why your son helped him lie. And if you know he helped her, why he has to be secretive? Seems too many red flags in your relationship. The son knew his mother would be upset to have that Noelle woman in her home. He also may have seen his father together with that woman in a situation. A, either his father told him to hush up, or B, he knew his mother would be very upset about. None of it is good or positive, really. By the way, other women leave things in their lovers' houses, just so the wife can find them, and fight with or leave their husbands. This is how I found out my husband was cheating. His mistress left her comb on the floor of my car. I know the truth. You have one chance to tell me your side. Then you get to choose marriage counselor or divorce lawyer. Lie to me again and it will just be divorce lawyer. Also, talk to your son about lying. I think this is the more nuanced response. Considering husband is lying, gaslighting, and bringing the kids into the lie, it's better to tackle this head on and get honest answers. Hope he already knows what's up. She just needs him to admit it. Record a conversation though, Opie. You'll need that for the divorce attorney. Don't confront. Don't say another word to your husband and your older son. Call a lawyer immediately and hire a PI. Get your ducks in a row for a divorce. He has already moved on to Noelle and your son is backing him up. Don't bother to do anything other than leave and show your independence without him. Is it painful? Don't give him the pleasure of seeing you upset. Do this now and play the long game since he is cheating. If the house is in both names or her name, she should not leave. She needs to establish that she's the primary parent, that leaving the house will be a hardship on the kids. Therefore, she should get the house into divorce. She should pack his bags and put them in the driveway, then change the locks. So when he gets home from work, he'll know he's not welcome. Leave your divorce lawyer's info with this stuff. Then, have a serious talk with your older son about the 2 very wrong things his dad is doing and that he is helping him do by lying to her. Cheating is never something to be supportive or proud of because it is despicable and will break not only your partner's or spouse's heart, but will destroy the whole family unit because all trust is gone. Now for the update. So I found a pair of sunglasses on my kitchen table. My oldest son immediately claimed they were his friends even though it was pretty obvious they were an adult woman's. Even after the story began to fall apart, him and his father continued to lie. My youngest son ended up identifying the sunglasses. When he got home, my husband admitted they were Noelle's. She has been over there while I was at work. My husband claims he has not realized they were hers. He thought they were mine, which is why he didn't move them. My older son realized whose they were immediately, which is why he lied about them. He knew I was about to find it all out and was trying to cover. My younger son recognized them because apparently they have gone with Noelle on numerous places on my husband's days off while I was at work. I don't know what he told my older son, but he told my youngest son not to tell me about Noelle and her son hanging out with them because I would feel bad about being left out because I was at work. I returned the glasses to Noelle, who seemed horrified. She was under the assumption I knew about their hangouts. I asked her, why did you think I would be okay with this? And she looked really confused and told me, why would I care if we were separated anyway? I told her we absolutely were not separated. We were very much still together. Apparently, my husband told her we had not been together except for cohabitating and co-parenting for months now. I confronted my husband with this information, and he didn't deny it. He apologized, but said he had developed feelings for Noelle, but didn't want to risk our marriage until he knew if they were true feelings or just attraction. He left the house, but Noelle wants nothing to do with him because now she knows the truth. He lied to her as well, and she's furious. I'm speaking to a lawyer today, and I'm not going to speak to him again except through lawyers, since I don't have anything else to say to him. I really feel for you, as your world has been turned upside down. I can imagine you'd have so many questions to ask him and your sons. I've been wanting to use this as an opportunity to teach your boys what not to do in a relationship for when they're older. I hope you can eventually find peace and forgiveness so that you can move forward. Perhaps this will be a blessing in disguise, and you meet a true gentleman that is worth of your love. Thank you for your beautiful and optimistic response. I'm going to try to do that. Thank you very much. Wow, he's awful. You're doing the right thing. To ask your kids to lie to you is the lowest of the low. At least you can now go to bed at night in peace knowing that you've taken out the trash. I'm torn. As a dad, it is the lowest to ask your kids to lie to hide your affair from the kid's mom. Or is it the lowest to have your kids hang out with you and your affair partner? Absolutely both. Imagine putting children in that position. We bring them up to tell the truth and have respect, but then he encourages them to lie and hide things from their mother. Scum. Listen, as an adult who found themselves having to cover for their father's transgressions at a young age, please put the blame where it should be. A child of 11 will do anything in their power to keep the peace and keep their parents together. It makes them feel like they have some power, which makes them feel safe. Please do not further parentify your son, as your husband has already done, by making him a player in this situation. This is not the time for conversations about lying and right and wrong. That can come later. My suggestions is speak to your sons and apologize that they had to be involved at all, and tell them that you and your husband love them no matter what. Sorry you and your children have to deal with this. This is really well put. You can tell a lot of the other commenters here came from good families and don't understand the stress a kid can feel to keep their parents from fighting. Next story. My fiancé is planning on leaving me to be in an open relationship with his co-worker. I, 24 female, had been with my fiancé, 27 male, for 4 years, and he proposed to me on my birthday last year. I always thought our relationship was great and that we were unstoppable, but I guess that I was wrong. Usually, he has always let me use his phone, for games, or because my phone would screw up. Recently, he was being very distant, and even getting upset if I ask for his phone. We're always open about our phones, and if the other would like to be sure if we haven't been disloyal, we were both okay with it. I shrugged it off as maybe he's planning something for my birthday, since it's coming up. Then a couple days ago, he asked me if we could try opening up the relationship. This took me by surprise, because he's never been the type to get physical or emotional with anyone else but me. I tell him I'm uncomfortable with the thought of that, and he kept explaining how it could build us up emotionally, to see other people's perspectives and how we can improve our love. I continued telling him no, and saying that it doesn't feel right. I never wanted to be with anyone else but him. He has been trying to convince me for the past day, but I didn't budge. He ended up saying whatever, and going on a walk for a couple hours. When he left, I cried my eyes out because it made me think he wasn't being loyal. Unluckily for him, he had left his phone on the counter in the kitchen, so I took it upon myself to check. And to my horror, I saw my worst nightmare. He was messaging a coworker we'll call Kim for a couple weeks. Messages saying I love you and let's plan a little date together. I cried and continued reading. Then I saw that they were trying to plan a way to leave me or get an open relationship started. Seeing as though the open relationship plan failed, they started saying that he should leave me and they can be in an open relationship. I'm so hurt and distraught by this. I thought he would be with me through thick and thin. Not to mention, I have a 6-year-old daughter that has absolutely loved him and thought of him as her dad. I'm crushed and betrayed for both me and my daughter. She was going to be our flower girl and have the prettiest dress, and now I have to tell her everything. My worst nightmare is coming to fruition, and I can't stop crying. I'm trying to be strong for her, but it's so hard. As I type this, I'm watching my daughter play with her dolls while watching TV, and my fiancé is upstairs playing a game. For now, I'm thinking of my next steps and staying strong for my girl. Now for the top advice before the mini update. What a prick! He wanted to open it up so he could cheat on you without it being cheating. All this drivel about learning how to be a better couple. Sorry you and your daughter are going through this. It sounds cliche, but it really is better you found this out now before getting married. Not good either way, but he is a loser. Opie, you don't need a man like your fiancé. It's over when your partner wants an open relationship. Leave him. Ex-fiancé, I would hope. Oh my god, what a douche canoe. Hey, Opie, I'm cheating on you already. Can we open the relationship so I can pretend I'm not a cheating douche canoe? What a piece of turd. Complete piece of turd. I feel so horrible for Opie. This must be incredibly difficult for her. But also, at least they weren't married yet. If the POS kept this to himself longer, he would have essentially trapped her. Definitely tell your family, his family, and your friends about what's happening. It's easier to be strong when you lean on a support group. Yes, cheaters thrive in the dark. Expose him for the POS that he is. I sent my now ex-husband's dating profile to his sister. Edit. I'm taking everyone's advice, and I do plan on leaving. I'm going to come up with a plan to put all of his stuff out whilst working one day and completely cut him out. Also, a couple questions I've seen that I should clarify on. With his messages, he had asked me a couple days ago to open the relationship, and I told him no. I should have clarified that for the past day he had been non-stop pestering me over opening the relationship. My fault. At the time of writing, I was so distraught. After asking me the first time, he told Kim what my answer was. And Kim had said, you should just leave at this point, etc., etc. But he thought it was best to keep trying to convince me. Like I said, that was my bad. It was mostly Kim saying that he should leave me. Also, some people may be confused at him leaving his phone while he left. We live in a wide open rural area, and usually when he needs to blow off steam, he goes through the backyard and to the woods that's a little down the yard. I never had a need to check his phone, but I trusted him at the time. He usually left to blow off steam or something. Again, I'm so sorry for any confusion during my distraught time of writing this. And thank you again. Last story. My 39 male ex-wife, 37 female wants to reconcile our marriage. I, 39 male, have been divorced from my ex-wife for 7 years now. We were together for 8 before that and married for 4 years. We have 2 children together ages 14 and 12. We co-parent and each get our own week with the children. I love my wife deeply, but the sad truth is she couldn't stay away from the male attention. She is a very beautiful woman, has been her whole life. Men would always look when they walked by, and I used to think how lucky I was she was mine. Until I found out she was entertaining these men as well. I had found texts in her phone multiple times that I had let go of because it was over the phone. Then I'd find out she allowed them to take her on dates or out to bars secretly after her work shift ended. She promised it was never intimate, and I never had any proof it was. But who knows? She said she just liked the compliments and the idea of how many guys like to pay attention to her, that it gave her some weird high. That wasn't my cup of tea though, so I ended the marriage. She's spent the last years in therapy, in which she's been diagnosed with histrionic personality disorder and OCD. She claims she's doing really well. And at our last drop-off with the kids, she told me she had told her therapist she'd like to reconcile her marriage a year ago, and she hasn't been on any dates or tried to be flirtatious. She said her goal was to fix us, that she wanted to be a family again if I was willing to try. Knowing she has a diagnosis for why she wants this attention so badly, and her actively getting help to contain these behaviors, opens my mind up greatly to the possibility of a happy marriage. But I am also not fully sure I can trust her. I want nothing more than my family back, but I don't want a repeat of the first time. Advice? You were divorced for 7 years. Assuming she's over her emotional issues, there is still the issue of neither of you being the same person as you were 7 years ago. How did she spend her 7 years? I assume it can be relevant, as you may hold resentments towards her. Never mind how she spent it. How did Opie? I can't imagine after 7 years of divorce wanting to remarry the person, as I'd assume that I'd be a completely different person. I do believe that people can change, and 7 years is a long time. So maybe Opie's wife has made some big changes / progress. So in this situation, it seems to me like starting completely fresh and dating again would be a better option than jumping straight back into marriage. They'll basically need to get to know each other again in my eyes. I almost believe she wants back because she's getting older. Hugh divorced when she was in her physical prime. My guess is she has been getting significantly less attention as she has aged and wants to go back to the man who loves her for her. I was thinking this too. She wants Opie back for the love and security it offers her. Her looks are fading, and she knows it. This thought crossed my mind as well. Great that she's been working on herself, but at 37, the dating thing may be dwindling. I'd be concerned about her motivations. And it would take a lot to prove to me she's faithful, after literally dating guys behind Opie's back. I also have a hard time believing it wasn't physical. Maybe it wasn't, but she was already so far past the boundary that there's no reason to believe her.